Hiya, Pete from Craft Cellars here again. Today I want to tell you about a couple of interesting rums that we've received here. Now I'm going to do these side by side because I think that they represent a really interesting contrast between two different kind of distinct styles of rum. So what we have here are the Guayana 17-year-old Kill Devil single cask and the 15-year-old single cask Panamanian rum from Kill Devil. Now, the brand Kill Devil is actually from Hunter Lane. You're probably more familiar with them when it comes to Scotch bottling. So they have the Old Malt Cask and Old and Rare bottling brands. So this is interesting that they're doing these single cask rum bottlings. So I'm going to take you through a little bit these two rums that we've got here. So we're going to start with this one on the left hand side. So this is the Guayana 17-year-old. Now, Guyanese rum is kind of an interesting style. Basically what you can expect from Guyanese rums in general is a more kind of tropical style. There are some kind of more nuanced influences in there as well, but the place itself is actually a perfect location for growing sugarcane. So actually the area of the Demerara River is a literally idyllic place for creating the kind of grade that's necessary to produce some of the best quality rums in the world. So that's definitely a good starting point. It's also pot still distilled and bottled at 46%. So let's see what this one's like. Okay, so it's got a kind of medium intensity, definitely very sweet leaning, but there's some other interesting things going on in there. So something like honey lemon is probably the main thing that I'm getting straight off the bat. Maybe a touch of anise as well. Quite an unusual. I wouldn't quite go as far as to say it's in the kind of area of like Jamaican style. It doesn't have that same funk, but definitely some of those lighter and kind of more tropical elements for sure. Let's give it a taste. So it's actually quite an interesting combination of flavours. So the sweetness is there, but it's almost become something along the lines of custard. I would say as well that there's this almost like toasted note, like a kind of, if you think of something like kind of burnt walnut, something like that. At the end of the palate, it kind of starts to turn into more kind of spice and maybe even like a kind of citrus rind type note. Quite a playful little rum actually. So that's beautiful, really kind of interesting, quite fresh as well. So yeah, let's see how it compares to this other rum. So as I said, this is the Panamanian rum. This is a different animal altogether. So this one's actually bottled at cask strength. So 59.8%. Definitely a lot richer straight away. So Panama as well is also a good place for growing sugarcane. It's got a volcanic soil, so very fertile, rich soil for growing sugarcane. But also has this tropical but very predictable climate, so perfect for maturation. So this one's been done, I say, in a sherry cask. So a lot like sherry whiskies, you can expect things like dark fruits, definitely things like tobacco. So I'm getting that immediately here. So let's see what this tastes like. It's extremely big. That is I don't want to say a monster, but it is a very intense rum. So obviously the higher ABV is going to contribute a fair bit to that, but there is an awful lot of influence there from the cask. So things like chocolate, you are getting spice as well. I would say there's leather in there as well for sure, and tobacco, so kind of classic sherry notes. There's also this kind of underlying, maybe kind of ripe, maybe plum kind of note. Just stewed fruits actually, I would say. But very rich, and this really long, kind of quite intense finish of spice. So really beautiful, excellent rums, very different from one another. But yeah, not many of these around at the moment, obviously being single cask. So if you're a rum lover, definitely recommend you pick at least one of these up for yourself.